a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Donald Trump was the third president elected in the 21st century. 21 is 7 times 3. He was elected in 2016. 2 plus 1 plus 6 is 9, which is 3 times 3. The assassination attempt was on July 13th. 1 plus 3 is 4. That's the 13th day of the 7th Gregorian month. 137 is a 33rd prime number. It happened on the 7th day of the 4th Hebrew month. 7 minus 4 equals 3. It happened in the first week after the 3rd Hebrew month. 1 plus 3 equals 4. This was 4 months after the eclipse, and there were 4 total victims. The snipers allegedly saw the shooter for 3 minutes before actually taking him out. Key numbers here are 1, 3, 4, and 7. Numbers missing from this sequence are 2, 5, and 6. 2 plus 5 plus 6 equals 13. So why does this stuff even matter? All these correlating numbers indicate that this event was planned, but not by the government, by the Most High himself. Because the coincidences get a lot deeper. All these numbers symbolize something different in the Hebrew text. 1 equals strength, leader, or YAH. Reuben was the first tribe. He was the first blessing of Yasharal. 1 represents unity, strength, power, leader, YAH, and also represents an affirmation or yes. Genesis 49, verse 3, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. First Hebrew letter Aleph represents God, creator, first, strength, leader, Lord, king, sovereign. And then on the first day, Yah created light. Light equals the electromagnetic spectrum, which is energy, which is power. And light in Hebrew is pluralized is urim, which was the thing that we used to get a yes answer from the priest when talking to Yah. But what we should take from this notably is that it represents Yah himself. Now 3 means to lift up, to build a foundation, and new beginnings. Levi was the 3rd tribe of Israel, and in the Hebrew text, 3 represents new beginnings, a foundation, or the prioritization of Yah. It represents new beginnings because the beginning of genealogies pre-flood was Cain, Abel, and Seth. The beginnings of genealogy post-flood was Shem, Ham, Japheth. The beginning of the chosen people, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The beginning of man's continual priesthood with Yah was Levi, which was the 3rd tribe. It represents a foundation because the dry ground, or our foundation, was made on the 3rd day. It was lifted up from the depths of the waters. A foundation is anything that connects something to something more stable. Levi connected men to Yah. To be a foundation can also mean to be a base, which corresponds to humility. Moses of Levi was the most humble man. It represents the prioritization of Yah because the 3rd commandment is to not take Yah's name in vain. The opposite of that is to prioritize Yah. The 3rd letter in Hebrew, Gimel, means to lift up. Lift up is Nasa, which is the same word for take found in the 3rd commandment. Now 4 equals a path, a journey, time, or a struggle with a good ending. Judah was the fourth son of Israel. And in the Hebrew text, 4 represents a path, a journey. It represents time, and it represents a struggle with a good ending. So 4 representing a path. As we can see, the sun, moon, and stars have their own paths. They were made on the 4th day. The path through the wilderness was 40 years for Israel and 40 days for Elijah. 4 representing time. As we can see, on the 4th day, our calendar was made, which was the sun, moon, and stars. The 4th commandment is the only commandment of the Big Ten dealing with time, keeping the Sabbath day holy, and 4 representing a struggle with a good ending. As we can see, 400 years of captivity, 14 years Jacob worked for Laban, 4 wives of Jacob who fought amongst each other, 40 days of flood rain, 40 days Moses fasted, 40 years in the Exodus, 40 days Elijah fasted, 400 men with Esau going against Jacob, but they ended up being kind to Jacob. As we can see in Genesis 49 and verse 10, it says something along the lines of Shiloh, which is the peace bringer, will come from Judah and gather Israel from the 4 corners of the earth. Genesis 49 and 10 doesn't literally state that, but one of its cross references are Isaiah 11 and 12, which most definitely does state that. 7 means to cut off, to stop, to rest, to complete, holiness, perfection, correction, or covenant. Dan was the 7th tribe of Israel. Now, in the Hebrew text, 7 represents a sharp reminder to be holy, to rest, to stop, to meditate, to keep Yah's Torah, to be told no. Genesis 49 verse 16, Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path that biteth the horse's heels, so that his rider falleth backwards. The judges of Dan delivered harsh correction to their brethren. It stopped them from being like the heathen around them. The creation story consists of 7 days. Yah rested on the 7th day and thus made 7 a holy number. You have 7 energy centers total. 6 are in the body and 1 is set apart above the head. The rainbow, the first covenant, has 7 colors. The atmosphere has 7 layers. It takes the human body cells 7 years to completely replace themselves and start over. And in the Hebrew language, 7 also means to make an oath. The word Shabbat is the same word for 7. And guess what? Shabbat means to make an oath, a covenant, or to swear. All things were originally made perfect. Thus, 7 also represents perfection. Perfection in Hebrew is Thumim, which is the name of the Levitical stone that gave a no answer from Yah. But to base it all up, 7 represents holiness. Another reoccurring number is 13. 13 basically means Yah lifts up, and there are 13 tribes of Israel. The 3s are very important because it represents a priesthood, a mediator between the common folk and Yahuwah. Levi was the 3rd tribe, and a priest must be at least 30 years old to minister, and at 50 he must retire.
Take a look at what happened. Take a look at what happened.
Did you see it? Let's look at this one more time.
Take a look at what happened.
3 shots, I'll be damned. In 2019, Trump's son got in trouble for killing an endangered ram. 2 + 1 + 9 = 12. 12 = 4 times 3. And he was 41 years old. This is very important. Not only is 4 - 1 3. Not only is 41 the 13th prime number. Not only is 41 composed of 2 key numbers, but 41 is the 3rd median number between 30 and 50, the ages of the priest. The priestly ages can be divided in 7 groups of 3, and 41 just so happens to be in the fourth group. Now, this is where it gets weird. Exodus 29 verse 1, and this is the thing that thou shalt do unto them to hallow them, to minister unto me in the priest's office. Take 1 young bullock and 2 rams without blemish. 3 animals needed to hallow the priest. Ram is included. But that's not the weird part. Look at this. Exodus 29 and 20. Then thou shalt kill the ram and take his blood and put it on the tip of the right ear of Aaron and upon the tip of the right ear of his sons and upon the thumb of their right hand.
Take a look at what happened. Take a look what happened.
He touched his wound with his right hand and must have felt something wet on his thumb, so he rubbed it into his index finger. So what does this mean? For one, the priesthood will soon return. Levitical priesthood, if we break it down in gematria, the ordinal is 2 to 2, the reverse reduction is 1 to 1. Added together, that's 3 to 3. But that's not the only message I'm getting from the numbers. The numbers are actually telling a story. 1 represents YAH, leader, strength. 3 represents lift up that which was low, a new foundation, new beginnings. Priest, humility, prioritization of YAH. 4, path, a way, journey, time, struggle with a good ending until Shiloh, Messiah, come, Genesis 49:10. Judah was the 4th tribe. And 7, end, rest, holiness, righteousness, perfection. This is telling a story, and those with ears to hear and eyes to see, those that are wise, understand exactly what this is saying. Not only is Yah warning us that the Levitical priesthood is returning, but also the Davidic priesthood, aka the order of Melchizedek. When David the Messiah rises up, he will act as a priest, not as a Levitical priest, but as a priest. Priest simply means a chief ruler who, instead of taking supreme authority over man, he acts in service to man for mankind's embetterment, as well as in service to God. So when David returns, when he rises up, he will serve humanity by making humanity better, as well as serving Yahuwah of hosts, and the Levitical priesthood will do the same thing. But let's focus on Genesis chapter 49, talking about the blessing of Judah, which is the 4th tribe. And we can see that it correlates with both time and a path or a journey. Everything that represents time is highlighted in a blue, and everything that represents a journey is represented in orange. Verse 9, Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Now, a lot of people are familiar with this verse, but very few actually know exactly what it's saying. It's saying Judah is a lion's cub. A lot of people don't take him seriously. A lot of people don't think he's a threat. It says, but from the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He's gone up from the prey, meaning he traveled up and down the land, surprising everyone because they thought that he wasn't a threat. But he recently went up from his prey. He stooped down and couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? And even though he was laying low in a non-threatening position, people still said, who shall rouse him up? People still wouldn't dare to threaten him or to fight against him. And it says, as an old lion, right? So it shows this poetic progress from being a young cub that everybody wants to mess with to this old lion that nobody wants to mess with, even if it's laying there in a non-threatening position. Verse 10, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Now this verse is interesting because it tells us a lot of things. It says the scepter shall not depart from Judah, which means as Judah is all around the world, somewhere on earth, there will always be some type of king in Judah. And it says, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, meaning around the world at all times, somewhere there's going to be somebody teaching Torah. But it says until Shiloh come. Shiloh in Hebrew means tranquil, the tranquil one, aka the peaceful one, the Messiah, the seed of David. At that time, when he establishes his kingdom in the name of Yahuwah, there will be no more need to teach the law, because the law will be in our hearts. It will be in our inward parts. We'll be doing Torah by instinct, okay? And then it says, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be, which basically is a prophesying of the Messiah rising up and gathering the children of Yasharal from the four corners of the earth. And it says, binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's coat unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. See, this indicates traveling, because a donkey is used for traveling, is used for moving people and moving things. These are beasts of burden, meaning these animals help us move things around. It seems like he's harvesting some grapes because he's about to make a long journey. And grapes are highly preservable. They can be dried into raisins. They can be fermented into wine or into liquor. So this indicates movement, travel, like I said. This is one of the things that the tribe of Judah was prophesied to be involved with. Because according to Isaiah chapter 11, verse 12, the tribe of Judah should be dispersed over the four corners of the earth. Judah is actually the most scattered tribe. Again, we're talking about a journey. Just as Yah told Isaiah to walk naked through Cush to let them know that they will be driven out of their land naked. And just like Yah told Ezekiel to lay on his side, facing Jerusalem, so that when they see Ezekiel, it will be their sign that soon they will be besieged by the Babylonians and trapped in the city. Yah uses people who have a lot of attention on them to warn people. This is called a sign and a wonder. Yah does it all the time. But because the children of Israel are scattered today, and we're all over the world, not just one prophet can walk around and do something to allude as to what's going to happen next. Yah has to use somebody who has full media attention. And Donald Trump will make the perfect candidate for this sign.
In Zechariah chapter 4, we see a lot of future prophecies about what Zerubbabel will do when his spirit returns to the earth. In chapter 3, we see the same thing being said about Joshua, the high priest. You know, him walking amongst the angels and judging the whole house of Israel. Both of these men were given messianic roles. Then at the end of Zechariah chapter 4, Starting at verse 11, it said, Then answered I and said unto him, What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick, and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again and said unto him, What be these 2 olive branches which through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? And he answered me and said, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. Then said he, These are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. As we know, the Hebrew word for anointed one is Mashiach. This tells us that there are 2 messiahs, all right? So that destroys the whole New Testament. There are 2 messiahs that will return, 2 messiahs that will embetter humanity. You know, and let's read some more about that. Ezekiel chapter 34. Therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be prey. And I will judge between cattle and cattle, and I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, even my servant David. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. And I, Yahuwah, will be their Elohim, and my servant David a prince among them. I, Yahuwah, have spoken it. So clearly, the spirit of David in a new body will rise up in this earth. Okay? Now, David has already returned. The last time David returned, his name was Zerubbabel. This time when David returns, we don't really know what his name will be, but his name might be Zamach. Okay, might be. Like I don't even want to prove that, because I don't want anybody to be like, oh, he's right, and then they just name themselves Zamach, or they name their child Zamach. So I'm not even going to prove it. I'm just going to say his name might be Zamach. Isaiah chapter 11 is key. It talks about what will David do when he returns. Verse 1, it says, And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the spirit of Yahuwah shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of Yahuwah. And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yahuwah, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. So as we can see, he will play a very crucial role in embettering the earth, okay? Making humanity better, judging humanity, having a lot of understanding, a lot of wisdom. So what else will David do when he returns? Well, will he do when he rises up? Because me personally, I believe he's already here. He just haven't rose up yet. It says in verse 10, And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. Now, the word ensign means a flag, like a flag with a tall pole that flies in the wind that you put upon the hills or you put upon the mountains, and you can see this mug from a far distance away, right? So what it's saying is there's going to be a person who's going to stand out, and all the people will know him. That's how famous and glorious he's going to eventually be. At first he's going to lay low, but then he's going to rise up. And we was talking about that a little bit with Judah, okay? Now, I don't want to get into that, but yeah, and it said the Gentiles shall seek. Why the Gentiles shall seek? Because at this point, all the righteous are going to start getting together. It doesn't matter what's their nationality. It It doesn't matter what they look like. All the righteous will flock together. Out of all nations, the Gentiles, the righteous Gentiles, all the people with good hearts will be unified in that day, because they will see this man and be so inspired by him. And it says, and his rest shall be glorious. Now the word rest in this verse is manucha, which literally means to be comfortable, to be tranquil, to be peaceful. Okay, so again, this connects back to Shiloh, Genesis 49 verse 10. He will cause so much peace on the earth that it's going to be glorious. No ruler who ever came before him was able to establish so much world peace. Then it says in verse 11, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Mizraim and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcast of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. So that ensign that he's going to set up again is going to be David. And David is going to be the one who initiates this great gathering. And Yah is going to be using him, because the spirit of Yah is going to be upon him. When scripture says the spirit of Yah is upon somebody, that means that Yah is upon somebody, or Yah is in somebody. Yah is acting through somebody. Yah has possessed somebody, okay? So Yah is going to be acting through David, gathering the dispersed of Israel from the four corners of the earth. Now let's read about the second Messiah. Malachi chapter 4, verse 5. This is the last two verses of the Old Testament. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahuwah. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to the fathers, lest I come to smite the earth with a curse. Now this is important because Elijah is also playing a role in the embetterment of mankind. As you can see, he's turning the fathers to the sons to the father. What this basically means is he's just going to increase love upon the earth. Love is like half of what Torah teaches, okay? And it's very important. When there's no love amongst people, this is why we have so much sin. There's no love, there's no respect, there's no, treating your neighbor as you want to be treated, right? And this is the basis of why we suffer in this world. Elijah is going to build back those loving relationships in family, those loving relationships in society as a whole. That's going to be his purpose, you understand? Another symbolic meaning to this could also mean that he's going to turn the children of Israel back to the ancient path of righteousness. Okay? Or somebody could read this and interpret it saying he's going to turn the children of Israel to Yah, Yah being the Father. There's a lot of ways that you can look at this verse. But as we can see, all three of those interpretations have to do with the people becoming better. The people becoming better, becoming more righteous. So that's the basis of this verse. Now Elijah is going to be that priest, that high priest that returns of the Levitical line, because we have the Melchizedek priest, aka David. Psalms 110 talks about him being of the order of Melchizedek. Psalms 110 is not about Christ, guys. If you read the Hebrew, it doesn't say a psalm of David. It says a psalm for David. Okay, the lamed prefix in front of the word David actually means for, not of. Okay, so it says a psalm for David. It was written by one of the subordinates of David, and it's saying, "The Lord said unto my Lord." It's saying, Yah said unto David, sit on my right hand. Okay, that's about David. And it says that David is a priest after the order of Melchizedek. So that's that type of priest. But the Levitical priest that's going to return is Elijah. Now, Elijah was actually a priest the first time he was here, known as Elijah. Okay, when he comes back, he's not going to be known as Elijah. Every reincarnation, the name changes. Right? The last time he was here, actually, he was known as Joshua the high priest. Before that, he was known as Elijah. Before that, he was known as Moses. Right? So every reincarnation, the name changes. We don't know what his name's going to be this time. But he was a priest, and we know Elijah was a priest in scripture because he offered the evening sacrifice. And you cannot offer the evening sacrifice unless you're a priest. Elijah and Elisha actually were both priests. So Elijah is going to be that high priest of the Levitical bloodline that's going to come. You understand? So that's what's going to happen. So the bottom line of what I'm trying to tell you guys is this sign and this wonder that we've seen with Donald Trump and these numerical synchronicities, as well as the blatant Levitical symbolism that was involved, allowed us to realize certain things are going to take place in this earth. All right. The priesthood is going to return. The priesthood is not just the Levitical priesthood, but also the Davidic priesthood. So along with that comes this Isaiah chapter 60, verse 8. This is what to expect in the future. Okay. It says, who are these that fly as a cloud and as the doves to their windows? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahuwah thy Elohim, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. Now that's important, because verse 8 says, who are these that fly as a cloud? So it's talking about the migration of the children of Israel from afar and going back into the land. But it says they're flying to the land as doves, as a cloud. This is important because it's talking about the method of transportation that the children of Israel are going to take to get back to the land. And it said they will be flying to the land, which indicates that this stuff is going to happen soon, because now we have the technology to make this happen. Okay, now we have the technology to make this happen. We have airplanes by the millions in the sky right now. You know what I'm saying? In the sky right now. And we have the technology to make this happen. Now, Isaiah chapter 5, this was actually written by Isaiah's wife. Okay, not Isaiah's wife, the prophetess. This is the chapter that she wrote. It says, and he shall lift up an ensign to the nations from far, and hiss unto them from the ends of the earth. And behold, they shall come with speed swiftly. None shall be weary nor stumble among them. None shall slumber nor sleep. Neither shall the girdle of their loins be loose, nor the latchet of their shoes be broken. Whose arrows are sharp, and their bows are bent. Their horses' hooves shall be counted like flint, and their wheels like a whirlwind. Now this is very important, okay? Because basically this verse is telling us that the children of Israel are going to return to the land with speed swiftly. That can only happen in this time period, because in no other time period could the children of Israel be scattered abroad the four corners of the earth and all migrate at the same time. If they didn't have any internet, if they didn't have any airplanes, they didn't have that, it would be impossible. And then it said, none shall be weary among them. So they're going to be on their feet, right? Because what they're doing is dangerous. This is mass immigration. And this country doesn't play that. They got to be prepared for war. And I like the part where it talks about the horse's hooves, because we're going to be on horseback. We're going to be on camels. We're going to be on asses, donkeys, mules. Because we're in this exodus, we're not going to be stopping at the gas station. We're not going to be on cars, trucks. We're not going to be stopping at the gas station. We got to be on our feet. or on some horses, or on some animals, beasts of burden. David himself will be on a donkey. He gonna be lowly, humble. He ain't gonna be on no tall white horse like the New Testament wants you to believe. The Messiah gonna be on this tall white horse. No, he's gonna be on a donkey, laying low, okay? Because he's humble. Now listen to this false prophet.
Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking. People say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming. And then I saw people interceding when I saw him winning the presidency through great. The Lord showed me it would go clear into the summer. Great persecution would come on him through the judges and through the law and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff. But there would be a stop to it, and there things would start to break free come toward the fall. And then I saw him winning the election through the Patriots coming out and voting, and then there will be a great economy crash. Yeah. I saw they had a great economy plan, a crash. Worse than the Great Depression. And the Lord warned me about this. It would be a great dark time. But I saw paddles coming upon America's soil like a shocking of the soil. And I saw Donald Trump praying in the office of the Oval Office. And he was weeping before the Lord with his hands on his head like this, but he was weeping. And there was ministers and people. I don't know if they were senators or Congress people or whatever. I just saw them pacing and back and forth inside of the White House. What is the White House, but it's the Oval Office. Yeah. And they were interceding all inside there, and I could feel the presence of the Lord so strong on this. And then I could see that darkness that was the heaviness upon America with the financial crisis of what I saw coming. It started to lift above the trees, and I saw the blue and the things coming back out, and the green times and the good times coming back again. But the Lord said it would be forth a time of a season of a shaking, and it would be a shaking to awaken. And in this, this would basically that He was not done with America. There would be a great revival come, and it's not all doom and gloom. That's what He said. The sky's not falling.
So I want to read a little bit from this website, and on this article it says, "No, this prophet did not prophesy Trump's assassination attempt." And this is a Christian publisher, Protestia. It's a Protestant Christian news publisher. So even the Christians are getting on this man's ass. So let's read a little bit of it. Said this whole video is nonsense. So who is this prophet? Brandon Biggs has a YouTube channel where he spends much of his time recounting visions and prophetic dreams the Lord is giving him, sharing hundreds of prophecies that he believes he is being shown, most involving the destruction of the United States and the upcoming doom and pestilence. These include the Lord showing him an upcoming massive EMP attack on America from the Oriental people using missiles from USSR that will take out half of the Midwest, that Italy will have a massive volcano eruption which will cause major devastation, that there will soon be another plague that will kill 350 million people, that there will be a major earthquake that results in helicopters having to fly in foods for hundreds of cities across America because all the bridges will collapse across the country. Come on, dude. No earthquake can collapse every single bridge. Anyway, he described in vivid detail the upcoming start of World War III, regaling his audience of all the details of how it will begin, and notably has previously falsely prophesied a major crash in the economy in 2013, urging everyone to buy rations and supplies, which resulted in everyone who believed him suffering financial hardships. In fact, he had to personally call up everyone he falsely prophesied to say sorry, and was subsequently forbidden by one pastor from ever prophesying in their church again.
He also falsely prophesied around this time that silver will go up $100 an ounce and that the Iraqi dinars will skyrocket, also urging everyone to invest in it, even though it tanked and they all lost their shirts. Now, I don't have to keep reading. This article tore this dude up. He was exposed for being a false prophet in the past. So nothing he says, a false prophet can never turn into a true prophet, because once you falsely prophesy something, YAH is not going to deal with you. And on top of this man's claiming to be a prophet. He doesn't even have, he's shaving his beard off. In the video, Brandon Biggs said that a bullet flew past Donald Trump's ear. No, it didn't. That's false. The bullet hit Donald Trump's ear. Okay, that's the first false statement. Then he said that it bursted his eardrum. That's also a false statement. Donald Trump's eardrum did not get bursted. So what do we see here? We see false prophecies disguised as the truth. Because something slightly similar to what he's saying happened, all of a sudden this guy's a true prophet. But let's see if any of his other prophecies came to pass. He said Donald Trump will win the election. If Donald Trump wins the election, there's no way voting is rigged. There's no way presidents are selected, not elected. Because that means our vote really counts. If Donald Trump actually wins, I'm going to be a little surprised. Because these people, the elites, do not want President Trump to be president. They don't want him to be president because he's slowing their progress of what they're trying to do. So they're doing everything in their power to stop Donald Trump from being president. And if he actually becomes president, that means our vote counts at that point. That means we have more power than the elites, which destroys a lot of conspiracy theories. So could he win? Maybe. But, let's say he wins. Let's say the economy does crash. Let's say all of this stuff does happen. Let's say his prophecy was dead on, right? Does that mean we should start believing in Christ? Because he's, a Christian and, he said Christ told him this, and that Trump is, going to be on fire for Christ. Does that mean we should start believing in Christ? Let's see what YAH says. Deuteronomy chapter 13 and verse 1. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, Let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet, or that dreamer of dreams. For Yahuwah your Elohim proveth you to know whether you love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul. In other words, y'all is telling us, there will come times when prophets are gonna seem like what they're saying is true, but they're speaking in the names of other gods. Don't listen to them. This is a test. That's what y'all is saying. It says in verse 4, Ye shall walk after Yahuwah your Elohim and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and ye shall serve him and cleave unto him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from Yahuwah your Elohim, which have brought you out of the land of Mizraim, which redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way which Yahuwah the Elohim commanded you to walk in, so thou shalt put evil away from the midst of thee. Shalom Mubarakah, Mishpakah. Peace and blessings.